That was wow. I was recording, I wasn't streaming. Now I'm streaming. Alright. What is up? What is up, everyone? How's everybody doing this evening? It's Friday Night Live with Clayford08 and friends. I got Crypto Jake and KJ in voice chat with me tonight. Hopefully I get some more people up in here. If you want access to the Discord channel, it is linked below in the description, so feel free to join if you're just now arriving. Tonight we have quite an array of subjects to go over because this week has been quite a crazy week in crypto land. I'm sure any of you that have been watching the market and watching the news as far as cryptocurrencies go know that to be true. It's been quite an up and down week. I think we had some really high highs this week, and then today it all crashed back down again. So really interesting stuff. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about tonight was the EOS, or EOS, however you want to call it. It's ICO, and I think it's been really interesting to see how it's been playing out over the past few days. Now, I thought a lot of people were going to see the spikes in price and then the dips as soon as the 23-hour periods ended, but we haven't been seeing that. The price has actually been pretty stagnant over the past couple of days, so that's been interesting to see. Jake, I know you've been watching that as well. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah. What's oh, whoops. That is not. Huh. That's the wrong thing. Yeah. Interesting. My audio isn't going through whenever you guys are talking. That's not cool.
Is it that he's too low, or is it that the audio isn't going through?
No, the audio is not going through for...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm using OBS, man. Just like 6 times. Okay, try talking now. No, it's... man, not cool. Not cool at all. It's kind of going through? How does that even work?
Oh, you can hear me? Alrighty.
It's just low volume?
Yeah, you're too low is what they're saying. They say I am, yes.
Alright, mic check, a little bit of boost. Am I sounding any better, audience?
Just turn up the OBS for PC output all the way up. Man. I have it. Let's see if maybe it's my... Let's try that. Let's see. I really apologize, guys. Alright, can one of you guys say something again?
Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Damn it. It is not wanting to play ball. Guys, I'm going to stop my stream real quick and try and start it back up. I apologize about that. Somebody say something real quick?
Testing, testing.
Yes, there we go. All right.
Like, so how are we looking? We look a little better now?
Yeah, I think so. I think they can hear you guys now. All right. Yeah, I think I just needed to reset the audio port. I think I just needed to, let me pop out my chat real quick so that I can see what you guys are saying.
Yeah, that's so much better. I just caught myself on the stream.
Alright. Holy shit, it scared me. It works! Alright. So, we were talking about the EOS ICO and the prices. So, I thought, personally, that we were going to see a lot more swings than we currently have. Like, the price is pretty stagnant right now around the 250 to 350 range. That's not very much of a swing, in my opinion, as far as like this just being opened onto the market time frame that we've had. It's only been on the market for a week now, and we've seen it basically go up to $5 and then back down to about $250, and it's kind of been hovering around that $250 to $350 range. I think that's really great that the price is like staying at that mark right now, because it gives people incentive. Okay. This is the swing we should all be concerned about. TechnoSearch says we need to be concerned about the Bitcoin dominance. But TechnoSearch, we're talking about EOS right now, just for the time being, but we'll probably get to Bitcoin as well once we start talking about the rest of the market, but for sure. What are your thoughts, though, guys, on this EOS ICO specifically?
It's a wild week, if I say so, you know. That first night, first ones out of the gate, there was a huge advantage to anyone who took the opportunity to follow the instructions on the ICO, on EOS website, and get in on the ICO. You know, open up your MyEther wallet, sent your coins in, collected them. It was a little too technical for maybe the average person who wanted to get in on the ICO, so people waited for the coins to hit the market. So everyone who got in on the back end ICO made away like bandits with 80-cent coins. Then they immediately wound up on the two markets that were trading, and honestly, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a Kraken account open, and Kraken was trading EOS right out of the gate, and it was trading really, really hot. Again, everybody who didn't get in on the ICO, again, it was a little technically challenging, easy to just wait for it to show up on the exchange and buy there. But of course, that was actually a huge opportunity for us, initial that initial Windows 0 guys, basically.
I completely agree. I want to talk a little bit about the future of EOS, because, you know, on Steam Speak, where Jake and I like to hang out a lot of the time with other Steemians, we talk about EOS a lot, and we talk about its applications, and I think that this blockchain itself has the potential to disrupt the rest of the internet. I think that having decentralized applications on an operating system built on a blockchain is just, right now it's unimaginable for me, because Ethereum tried to do that with its platform, but it's definitely not capable of doing so because of the scalability of it. And we're seeing that now with all of these ICOs. You know, these smart contracts are really, really destroying the flow of the network. And so for them to be able to create all of these decentralized applications, it's just not possible on the Ethereum blockchain. So I think EOS could be the problem solver for this, and I think we could see some really, really great things to come. What are you guys' thoughts on this, KJ and Jake?
Hey, go ahead, KJ.
I honestly don't know much about EOS, so go ahead.
Okay. So right now, there are 1 billion coins that are going to be issued by the end of this year. That's what we know, right? 200 million were issued in that first 5-day window of the ICO, and then another 2 million are entered into the market every 24 hours. So I think, personally, after the year is up and EOS is actually implemented, the real EOS blockchain and not these tokens, I think we're going to see a huge price rise. Even with the first beta, I think we're going to see a huge price rise in EOS. So right now, I think the price is still pretty cheap.
I think what's going on with the price right now is it's tracking super tight to the, like you're describing, the 24-hour buy-in windows, right? So every 24 hours, there's another 2 million tokens available through the ICO contribution process that you can claim every 24 hours. So every 24 hours, there's 2 million more tokens getting into private hands. And then most of these guys are trying to move them onto the open market. But now the open market is tracking pretty closely to the everyday ICO price. So everyone is watching the ICO price every day. And I'm wondering, is there going to be enough momentum and interest in this platform to keep seeing that $3 a day that it's sort of settling that? Let me just double check how much ether that is a day that's being contributed.
I think it's around, is it around like 20k ether?
Yeah, I think it's like 15, 20k.
Yeah. So to piggyback on what Jake just said, I think that this project definitely has the potential to continue to see that growth over time, because first of all, Dan Larimer is a crypto genius, and he's the CTO of this project. I'm sure many of you know that. Dan Larimer created both BitShares and STEEMit, two of the most prominent blockchains out there right now. STEEMit is growing at an exponential rate. Every day they have thousands of people sign up for that. And BitShares is probably the #1 decentralized exchange right now in the world. So Dan Larimer is a crypto genius, and he's solving a lot of problems that we're seeing in the crypto space. The first problem that he solved was whenever he developed the DAO. It was actually his idea, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. He called it the Decentralized Autonomous Company. It was called a DAC, but that was essentially his idea that was brought to the table. The DAO that got hacked last year, those guys got that idea from Dan Larimer. He also created delegated proof of stake, which is what's used on the STEEMit blockchain right now, which is what's going to be used on the EOS blockchain. And delegated proof of stake is probably the best algorithm on the market right now as far as blockchain technology goes. And he's also solving the issue of transactions per second. Right now, Bitcoin only hosts 3 transactions per second. I think Ethereum is like 20 transactions per second. I could be wrong about Ethereum, but I know Bitcoin is 3 transactions per second. You guys can correct me on Ethereum, though, if you guys know the answer to that. But he wants to create a blockchain, EOS, that can produce millions of transactions per second. Now just think about that for a second. If you have a blockchain that can produce millions of transactions a second, that outweighs credit card companies, which can produce about 20,000 transactions per second. So what he's trying to accomplish is so far out there right now. I don't think that anybody has the capability to do this, but I think Dan Larimer, of all people, can definitely bring this together, this project, and do an incredible thing with EOS. What are y'all's thoughts in chat about EOS? Do any of you guys follow this project, or are you learning a thing or two from what we're talking about?
Yeah, dude. Dan Larimer, absolute genius. And this will be the, the machine or the operating system of all these future cryptos to come. This will be the backbone that runs them all. And again, he's making it developer friendly, because my understanding is that ETH is kind of a difficult platform to develop on. Whereas this, again, with all those, especially with the speed of transaction, the theoretical throughput, this is going to be a game changer.
So
a whole ecosystem of new crypto technology is going to be built on top of this platform. So, guys, I encourage everyone out there. I'm not trying to pump this up, but this really could be a game changer of a token. If anybody, and the proof is in the pudding. Look at his existing projects. You got BitShares, you got STEEM. I use STEEM. I click on things. I see how responsive it is. I see that it works. It's proof in the pudding. And if this man built these technologies, and now this is his third time at bat, and he knocks out of the park every time, and he's taking what he's learned from the other two projects, I have absolute faith that this EOS thing is gonna be big.
Absolutely, I agree, and I think we're gonna see a huge price rise, like I said, once the beta is put out there for everybody to play around with. I think that's gonna be a really great day. All right, so that's EOS. Let's move on to our next topic. So
really quick, is there a wallet for EOS out already?
No,
or is that not even out yet?
No. In fact, a lot of people are calling EOS vaporware right now because nothing has been put out for it yet. So it's all pretty much, your investment is based on faith right now that Dan and his team are going to do what they say they're going to do.
Right. The EOS tokens at the moment are only tokens. They're IOUs. You will later exchange them. In about a year, we will be exchanging them for actual EOS tokens. But right now, they are just IOUs. They're not the actual final product. So we're just playing around with the IOUs in the market, and we cross our fingers that these things are going to be worth a fortune by, July 1st, 2018, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so the next topic that I wanted to go over was the IRS. So I'm not sure if all of you read that the IRS is pushing for Coinbase to release information on its clients again. They're basically strong-arming them and saying, like, hey, it's ours to take. It's our money to take from these people. So release that information to us, give us their passwords so that we can access their accounts and see how much they're earning on these cryptocurrencies. So the first point that I want to make about this is, obviously I think it's illegal what they're trying to do here. That totally goes against our rights as citizens of the United States. And for anybody that's not a part of the United States, if you live somewhere else, this is still probably important to you, because if the U.S. regulates cryptocurrencies, you're going to see a lot of changes in the cryptocurrency market. But what I wanted to talk about with this was the fact that the SEC is not regulating cryptocurrencies. They're not allowing us to exchange these easily, but yet they want to tax us on these things with the IRS. And I find that incredibly insulting as a as a cryptocurrency lover and, bag holder. I think that it's not their right to say, hey, we're not going to actually call this a currency, but hey, give us money for this. We're going to take our taxes on that. even though they refuse to call it anything. I don't think they're calling it a security. I don't think they're calling it a fund. They're definitely not calling it a currency. And I just find that insulting. And the IRS has no right to get the passwords of these clients on Coinbase.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think they backed out of that. I just put a picture in the chat.
IRS is no longer seeking password and security settings for Coinbase accounts. Yeah, so that's what I saw too yesterday. But the fact of the matter is, they're still pressing for it. So
Right.
they were asking for it at the beginning of this week, and I guess Coinbase said, "Hey, we're going to lawyer up, and you guys are just going to have to deal with it because we're not releasing this information to you." So the fact of the matter is, they're still pressing for this, and they're probably trying to find a way to get this without even asking. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But what are y'all's thoughts on this? Do y'all think it's legal for them to do this?
I don't know. Like, I feel like, would they do it if it was illegal?
Yes.
Like, how do they go about like auditing your normal like income and everything? Because this is just another form of auditing for them. And I don't know.
Well, the way that they do that is by going through your W-2s that
Right.
you input at the end of every year. So that's still a personal thing that you do. It's not like that is a federal form that is
You're
filled
openly
out.
disclosing, right? Totally different
Right.
than coming in and snoop on you.
But you true, yeah.
I believe if you get actually audited, it's a little more broader scope than just your W-2s, because some of what they're looking for is discrepancies in reported income versus what your like living standards are. So like the security settings, I didn't even know they were asking for that. I had never heard about that. That's ridiculous and totally nonsense. Why would they ever need that? But if they want like full transaction records, and you're a US-based company providing services to US-based citizens, then I guess, to me, that's acceptable for the IRS to do.
Right.
Because it's their job to kind of make sure that people are paying their taxes on these trades, basically.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I
but
think
that's-
there's a better way they can go about it than just getting the passwords to everyone's account and just like going into it and seeing what they do. I think there's got to be a better solution than that, because that's like a total invasion of privacy.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of accountability here. Like, who decides how they can snoop and what they can do and who's looking at it? Like, I can't have just anybody at the IRS looking at what I'm doing in my crypto wallet. Like, there's no warrant, there's no just cause for them to go in there and take a look.
Exactly. So my problem is, we're not allowed to see what the Fed does behind closed doors. We're not allowed to see what the IRS does behind closed doors. But they think that it's their right to snoop in my crypto wallets. I don't think so. I think it's now on us as citizens of the U.S. to vote in people that are going to represent us the way that we want to be represented. So these laws that are getting passed, these regulations that are getting passed, and by the way, really great on Japan for going the distance and saying, "Hey, we're not gonna tax Bitcoin." Really
Oh, yeah.
fucking awesome job.
I saw that. It's awesome.
And really awesome on Russia too this week. They're looking into hydroelectricity and nuclear power mining outposts. So those two countries, I think, are moving in the right direction as far as blockchain technology, whereas the U.S. is lagging behind, and I think they're trying to bring down the average user of cryptocurrencies by enforcing things like this. This is just putting a bad taste in everybody's mouth. It's very unethical, and I think it's illegal.
I'll say I just kind of disagree. Again, I'm stipulating that all they want is transaction history for U.S. citizens. As long as that's what it is, I think that's okay, because I think if you realistically take a look at this this area of finance, I'll call it, I think there's a lot of people who aren't paying the proper taxes on their trades.
Absolutely. But that's still on the ethics of the person, the citizen. That is not the government's right to snoop in somebody's wallet. Have you ever read the book If You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
No, but
Okay.
go ahead.
So the whole story behind If You Give a Mouse a Cookie is, well, if you give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want a glass of milk. And if you give them a glass of milk, they're going to want to lay down on your couch and take a nap. And if they do that, then they're going to want to brush their teeth. Like, so the whole point that I'm trying to make is if we give them access to our passwords of accounts like this and wallets like this, what are they going to want next? And that is what I'm not okay with.
Yeah.
So I really, truly believe that they wouldn't be asking for passwords if... I cannot believe that that's true. Because I just don't see any way that that's possible, that they asked for passwords, unless they did it like in an erroneous way where Coinbase interpreted it as they're asking for passwords. Like, I would be shocked if the IRS specifically stated in the thing, we want login credentials. Maybe they did. I'm just saying that would really surprise me.
The thing is, the government is always going to do what's best for the government. And I think that with a lot of things, like I was reading today that somebody was arrested for money laundering, or so the government said. They basically were just trying to exchange bitcoins through local bitcoins, and they were getting paid in cash, but they were still planning on paying their taxes on that. But the government arrested them and claimed that they were money laundering. Now, how can you prove that somebody is money laundering and not going to pay their taxes on something if you haven't even given them the chance yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not super well versed in the money laundering laws, but there are money laundering regulations that, like, don't have anything to do with the instant of paying taxes. It has more to do with the way you move. Like, for instance, if you intentionally try to deposit only $9,999 instead of the $10,000 limit, that still has to be reported.
Right.
And so, I guess there's a lot of circumstantial, like, things that could have happened there that, yeah, I don't know.
I think there just has to be another way that they can, go about getting their taxes than snooping around accounts.
Yeah. I'm trying to get you guys to think in a decentralized manner, because the government acts as a centralized entity. And right now, what we're trying to build is an empire based on blockchain technology, which is highly decentralized. So I'm trying to get you guys to think outside of the box here. We don't need the government to tell us that we need to do these things. I know that it's ethical to pay my taxes, so I'm going to pay my taxes.
It's even beyond that. It's the law.
Right.
And they're charged with enforcing that part of the law and making sure you're doing it. And so, again,
but
if a normal traditional financial institution, the thing that happens there is they send reports. They send actual money to the IRS daily when transactions and trades and withdrawals happen. And they also have form filings at the end of the year that they send to the IRS also. And these exchanges do none of that, so it falls 100% to the people using the exchanges to do that. And again, these exchanges don't provide you tax forms that like summarize your tax liability from your trades. So until that happens, it kind of is in the best interest of the IRS to get transaction histories from exchanges for U.S. citizens.
Right. It's like the only way they can at the moment.
Okay, so going even further, do you think that the income tax is legal?
No, from what I understand, that 1913 Act, Federal Reserve Act, that incorporated the income tax was supposedly wasn't properly vetted by Congress. It was, supposedly just a few members of Congress were in the House when it passed on like Christmas Eve.
Exactly.
But this isn't income tax. Well, it is if it's less than a year, but I don't know. I've heard that before. And I'll be honest, I don't really have much of an opinion on it either way.
Well, I mean, they collect a lot of money in taxes, and the national debt keeps growing. And then the more they collect, it still seems to grow. You do the math, you're on the numbers. It seems like this whole thing is just one big Ponzi scheme. You could collect 120% in taxes from every person, and you still wouldn't come close to breaking even every annual, every fiscal year, let alone paying down the however many trillions of debt the U.S. owns. So, yeah, it's a bit of a Ponzi scheme. There's no transparency. The Federal Reserve acts completely in the shadows, doing whatever it wants, manipulating the currencies with the interest rates up, down. They got everybody by the financial what. So crypto and the transparency of crypto and the lack of fraud, this is going to revolutionize an industry that is way overdue for a revolution.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
And I'll tell you another thing. Here's like a bit of a moral philosophical dilemma, right? While the little man is constantly squeezed by the tax man, you find these huge scandals engulfing the world's biggest banks when it comes to money laundering. I mean, you just look at history. We've got Deutsche Bank embroiled in money laundering for, again, huge criminal enterprises. You had the huge HSBC criminal action against them where they were caught laundering money. I don't think anybody went to jail, though. There was major banks in, I think, the Netherlands. Yeah, Dutch banks. Many of them embroiled over the years with some money laundering schemes. Same with the UK banks, also caught in that. So it's like everywhere you look, these big banks at the top, they are moving huge sums of money for some big illegal players. And then what do? They get away with a slap on the wrist and a fine, while the little man gets audited and squeezed over pennies that he's trying to earn. It's just, yeah, it's kind of like a moral thing. I can't believe, how the little man takes the brunt of all this action.
I'm going to give you an example of something that Jake was just talking about. So everybody in here knows that I'm in the Air Force. Every year we have an annual fund, a fundraiser essentially, called the CFC, that raises money for all of these, specific, like very specific, what are they called? Philanthropic organizations, I guess. So they raise this money, but not many people know that not all of that money goes to the funds. For each specific fund, they have an exact percentage that they send each year to that organization. So if I were to give, $100 to the Toys for Tots Foundation, the thing that buys a bunch of toys for kids for Christmas, if I were to send $100 to that and put it into the CFC fund, only $80 of that would actually go to Toys for Tots. And this is a government-run organization, so this is a government-run funding source, and all of that money should be non-profit, right? So where is that other $20 going?
Right. I mean, non-profit, yeah, it sounds great, but they still pay themselves. They call it income, so it's not technically profit, really. It's just like they're working for it.
Yeah, this was
widely charities and everything.
this was like a widely publicized thing here in Canada, where I know a few newspapers reported on this because there was a huge shift in the donation, the foundation market, where before these foundations would be collecting on their own. They'd hire their own people to go out and go to the mall, try to ask you for money or to sign up for UNICEF, whatever. Every time they come knocking for money, they used to pay their own people to go out there and collect money for their agency. Somehow that became less lucrative, and they had to start outsourcing. Now it's like an outsourcing business where instead of if I want to collect money for the local kids charity, that charity no longer employs their own people, like I'm saying. They go to these agencies that are specialized in collecting money. So again, this was all over the news because they were exposing how, every one of these charity schemes now is now run by a third party. And that third party is taking like a huge take, like a really, really big take. Like I remember hearing, I think like 70-80% take is what they're taking. But yet the charities are still seeing income because these guys are hitting the streets, collecting money. So for them, getting 20% of this take is acceptable. But then, to the person, what the whole angle was that for the average consumer, for the average citizen paying into one of these charities, he's not aware that four out of $5 is going to go into, private hands to the guy that's doing this for, on the corner for however many bucks an hour.
Yeah, that's essentially what I was trying to boil down to. Like, the government is trying to stick its hands in things that it shouldn't. I think a lot of these things should be privatized, and I definitely disagree with income tax. Our founding fathers never wanted there to be an income tax for a reason, and I think that we should have stuck to that. And somewhere along the way, we started moving towards this progressive movement, and that has corrupted a lot of our government. And hopefully, with things like blockchain technology that are very decentralized, we can start moving away from that central entity of government. And I need you guys to understand that I say that with a heavy heart because I work for the government. So it's not something that I take lightly whenever I say those things, but I have to think for myself on these sort of issues.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that it causes, like, the IRS and the SEC to try and force such strict regulations just shows how big of a deal it really is. Blockchain technology and everything.
They're running scared.
Yeah, it's a disruption in the government, which is a good sign for blockchain in general.
All right, you guys ready to move on to the next topic?
For sure.
Sure.
All right. Mobile Go. Mobile Go. What the fuck happened to Mobile Go? Okay. Mobile Go is down 24% today, guys. It's at 97 cents a coin. So, I love this platform, personally. Right now, this is still just a token. It's not the actual blockchain itself. The ICO just took place last month. Distribution happened like 2 weeks ago, I think. And it was sitting around $2 a coin. Right now it's at 97 cents, and I think that this is a really, really nice price point, guys. I think that if you were to get into Mobile Go right now and then hold it for the next year or two, you might be sitting pretty. Okay. Because look at the total supply, guys. There's only going to be 100 million Mobile Go coins ever in existence. Right now, there's only 70 million circulating around the markets. And if you look at that volume, $537,000 in volume, that's not a little amount, guys. That's actually some pretty good 24-hour volume. The market cap is only sitting at 68 million. So, I mean, 70 million circulating supply, $68 million market cap, that gives you the 97 cents. But think about that. That's only 3 times the amount of coins as Bitcoin. less than 3 times. So I think that we could really see some price growth in this. So let's talk about what Mobile Go is. Like, do you guys in chat with me know what Mobile Go is?
I haven't looked into it really too much. I'm on their Twitter right now, just trying to get a feel for it.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it either. Sorry.
Game
Okay.
developer platform, right, dude?
Yep. So Mobile Go is both a game developing platform, and also it's going to be used for esports competitions. So you're going to be able to create smart contracts for competitions, esports competitions, on this blockchain so that you can pay out the winners of competitions. So this is going to be a highly marketed cryptocurrency in the esports community. Right now, I think it is the biggest cryptocurrency in the esports community. It is attached to game credits. The game credits developers are the ones that created this. So essentially, the biggest portion of Mobile Go is going to be its Mobile Go platform. So mobile gaming is where this is headed. They're going to create a third-party application, a third-party store for gaming on Android and iOS so that anybody can go in and download this application and buy games directly from the Mobile Go platform. So that money goes directly to the game developers who designed those games, and it doesn't go to any middleman. So the developers get paid a lot more than what they're used to getting paid. So it really gives them the incentive to use this platform instead of using like the Google Play Store or the whatever the iOS store is. I don't even know what it's called. But really, really cool stuff. So what's y'all's opinion on this? Do y'all think that this has a market?
Yeah, definitely. I think esports is kind of still emerging with like League of Legends, Counter-Strike. They're all like, they have a huge esports community. I just want to know, like, say you want to run a tournament, could you do that using like Mobile Go to pay out the winners of like a tournament that's not on land? So you have someone, on the East Coast of the United States playing someone on the West Coast, and you put up this smart contract to pay out the winner. Is that kind of how it would work?
Absolutely. But I mean, you could also do it for a LAN tournament as well. That would be even easier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the smart contract would be created online, so you could pay out anybody throughout the world. So let's say you're in North America and you're playing somebody in South Korea. That would be the perfect implementation of this.
Yeah, definitely. I think that'll help esports grow.
And let's be real here, guys. The gaming market is one of the fastest growing markets in the world. It is not going anywhere anytime soon. We're just going to see more and more growth. So 97 cents, guys. Again, that price point looks really, really tasty to me. And I think I'm going to pick up some more of this because I'm already holding on to some. Right now, I think you can pick this up on Liqui and Waves. I think those are the only two exchanges that you can get this on.
Really? So you can't go to... It's only on those two?
Yeah, have you guys used Liqui?
No, I've not.
I see it all the time, but I've never used it. KJ, have you?
I have not.
What about Waves? Have you guys ever used the Waves exchange?
I downloaded the client last night. I haven't installed it yet.
Okay. I would love to hear about it once you play around with it a little bit. That'd be really interesting. So, on a platform like this, where do you guys think the price could be in a year from now?
That's
And-
super hard to say.
Yeah,
But,
it's hard to say because there's so
definitely-
much speculation involved.
Definitely a promising idea, though. I think, there's a lot of, obviously, like you said, gaming is a huge market. A lot of gamers out there and a lot of gamers who want to turn it into a career. And unfortunately, not everybody is cut out for esports. You're not going to necessarily make a living yet with esports, but
Right.
you give the crypto model injection into the formula. Suddenly, the distribution of the coin is just going to maybe make it more feasible for more people to do gaming as an actual career, right? Because clearly a lot of people want to do that, not just develop and design games, but just game, right?
Play them, yeah.
So this could be a way to monetize what people are doing and really want to make a career out of. Just like Steam makes it possible for you to blog and make a living, this kind of coin might make it possible to game and make a living. That's going to revolutionize things for people.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's a really interesting idea. I didn't even think of its use for that, but yeah, definitely.
But yeah, as far as pricing it in a year goes, it'd be too hard to say because really it's just so dependent on how the top 3 cryptocurrencies are doing at a certain point, because they run the rest of the market. Like, if Bitcoin goes up a ton, you're going to see everything else go up a ton.
Absolutely.
It's really just dependent on that. But
Well,
say Bitcoin does really well and hits, I don't know, 4,000, then I don't know, you could see mobile go like $5, $4.
we've seen a bunch of posts over the past week about technical analysts saying that. Like, I think one of the largest financial advisor companies. Whoa.
JP Morgan. Oh, it was actually I know exactly what you're.
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs. Yeah.
Goldman Sachs, yeah. They said it was going to go up to 5,000 by the end of, or over the next year, right?
Yeah, I saw that as well. I think it was actually exactly 4,000. That's what made me say 4,000, to be honest, because I saw that earlier today.
Well, I've seen 4,000, 5,000, 50,000. So, like, there have been a bunch of posts about the price points over the past week.
All depends how the economy's doing. If the economy starts to tank, you're going to see a flight to the cryptos, no doubt about it. And all you need is just 1% of the global market to dip into cryptos, and their prices are booming, so it's inevitable.
Yeah, I actually talked about that in one of my Steam It posts this week about how the world market cap is really going to play a factor in cryptocurrencies.
I think we're going to see a bit of a slaughter in August. I've read a lot of people suggesting that there might be a big correction in August. So I'm thinking I might spend July kind of winding down some of my investments, trying to offload a lot of things and kind of stock a few of my chips. And then I'll watch for that. I'll watch for the dip in the prices, pick them up maybe in August if it goes as predicted, and then watch by fall and Christmas, the prices will be booming.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think there'll be nearly as long as a gap as we saw from like the bubble back in 2013 to what we have now. I don't think it'll be nearly as long as a flatline gap.
Yeah, there was a reason for that long winter, though. I mean, people were very fearful that their coins were going to get stolen again, so everybody left the market that was previously in it. I for one, was one of those people. After Mt. Gox closed its doors and I lost thousands of dollars, I told myself, well, big gulps, huh? See you later. Like, get the fuck out of here, you know? Like, that was losing thousands of dollars and realizing that that was the only money you had in savings just rips your heart out. Like, that is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. So that's why we saw that long winter. A lot of people were very, very cautious to get back into the market. But then people like me were like, well, wait a minute. That wasn't Bitcoin's fault. That was my fucking fault. I shouldn't have left that much money on an exchange. So people are really starting to be more safe and secure with their wallets. and that's a good thing. People need to be safe and secure with their wallets. You wouldn't fucking pull out your wallet out of your back pocket and leave it on a table at a restaurant and then walk away. So we're starting to see a revolution here, boys, and it's going to be a good thing. Over the next couple of years, we're going to see more and more people into the market, and I think we are going to see those price rises in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then hopefully EOS. Hopefully EOS is going to be a major player as well in the coming years. We'll just have to wait and see on that one.
I think I saw something back in June. Coinbase had like 1 million users, new users registered, which is like insane.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Like, so how many of you guys have had like family and friends like ask you, how do I get into buying Bitcoin? Like, how do I do it?
Yeah, so many people have asked me that when I try telling them about it, and they're like, well, how do I do it? You know? So I just like try and tell them all the rigmarole.
That's whenever you're like, hey, Clayford08 actually set up this series specifically for people like you.
Right, yeah, link them the videos.
There you go. All right, let's move on to the next topic, guys. All right, Cryptopia. I know Jake is really excited to talk about this because he's been getting involved with Cryptopia. So I'll just let him take the lead on this one.
What is Cryptopia?
Jake, you there, man? All right, Jake's not here. So Cryptopia is actually an exchange that has been around for quite a while. It's been around for years. That I don't know how else to describe it. It basically houses a lot of shit coins. It's one of those exchanges that you go to whenever you want to get rid of a bunch of shit coins that you own that none of the other exchanges allow. But Cryptopia actually has a cryptocurrency of its own built into its exchange, and that cryptocurrency is doing extremely well for some reason, and I can't seem to figure out why. I don't think Jake was able to figure out why either, but it's really interesting to see more people moving to exchanges like this, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, why I think people are moving to exchanges like this. But I'd like to know y'all's input. Like, Ethan and KJ, have you guys ever even used other exchanges besides ones that we've talked about?
No, not really. I stick to my main one, but I'm on Cryptopia's website right now, and I clicked on Marketplace, and this is pretty sick. Like, you can just like buy anything with Bitcoin here.
Yeah, you can actually
it's like
buy
an eBay for Bitcoin.
Yeah, you can actually buy anything with any of the cryptocurrencies that are located on Cryptopia. So any of those shit coins that you have, you can actually use Cryptopia to buy those things as long as the lister accepts them.
Right. Okay.
So
But-
yeah,
Wow, that's
Will
really neat.
Cryptopia buy your shitcoins from you for Bitcoin? Like, could I sell Cryptopia my Dogecoin and get Bitcoin in exchange?
absolutely. It's an exchange just like any other exchange, so you can go and trade those.
Except
Well, would
we
I be
have-
trading them to another person, or
Yeah,
would it be
yeah,
like
it's just-
Coinbase, where I'm giving it to Coinbase? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like any other exchange. You're trading with other people.
Okay.
Just you have a wicked selection of shit coins to troll through or get trolled by.
Yeah, Jake, I was building you up on this one, and then you weren't here to talk about it. It was pretty
Well-
funny.
Super sorry, dude. I had to grab the pizza at the door.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. All right, so tell us about Cryptopia, man, your experience over the past couple of days using it.
Just joined, took a little peruse through the aisles there, saw what they had on the shelves. Like I said, a lot of altcoins on there. So for anybody who likes to cruise the penny stocks, so to speak, looks like a great place to do it. But at the same time, you could lose your ass on there. So not every shitcoin is worth investing in, obviously.
Yeah. There are
Course. Oh, sorry, go on.
there are a lot of pump and dump schemes that happen on exchanges like Cryptopia.
For sure. But they have their own coin, which backs Cryptopia itself. They call it Dotcoin. And it was one of the biggest movers this week, so I just joined so I could get in on the Dotcoin.
Yeah, dude. Did you make any profit off of that?
To be honest, I haven't pulled the trigger on that buy order yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good time to buy on that though. If it's gone up 20, I think we saw it actually went up like 40% over the past 7 days, right?
Exactly. So I was going to wait for a little pullback. But all in all, I mean, the exchange seems to be booming, and the coin pays a good dividend, I think. So, again, looks like a potential must buy in the future if this Cryptopia is legit and if it becomes a dominant exchange.
Yeah, so I talked about how Cryptopia has been around for several years now. A lot of exchanges have been around for several years now that have gotten no notice at all by crypto traders. Just people that are holding shit coins go to exchanges like this. So let's talk about why people might be starting to move to exchanges like this. And that is because of Poloniex. I think a lot of people are starting to lose their faith in Poloniex, and Poloniex has been the largest altcoin exchange in the world for quite some time now. So why are people losing faith in Poloniex? Let's talk about that, guys. What are y'all's personal experiences with Poloniex?
Poloniex was the first exchange that I visited, and I saw the troll box, and I was like, do I really want to use this exchange if they have like a chat box next to everything, like with people you shilling and trying to influence decisions? And I decided not to use Poloniex, which I don't regret at all because it has so much, controversy around it. So really, I only use like Bittrex for all my trading.
Yeah.
To me, one of the things about Poloniex that I didn't like was the charting functions. Didn't really care for those when I first started getting back into the crypto scene. And so when I looked for better charting things, the first thing that came up was the Crypto Watch, and then through extension Kraken. And so that's where I ended up, basically.
But Kraken, so what I wanted to talk about was the flash crashes that it has had due to DDoS attacks over the past few months. Like, I've been a huge supporter of Poloniex for a very long time. I loved the troll box personally. I always got a kick out of it whenever I got on there because people would always be talking shit towards one another. And so that was always funny to see. And I never listened to the troll box, of course, because whenever I'm on an exchange, I know exactly what I want to be trading. But the thing that I really hated was, I know for Ripple itself, and Ripple is still suffering because of this. Over the past few months, Ripple has seen some huge swings on Poloniex, and Poloniex was the driving factor for these swings. The users on Poloniex were buying a ton of Ripple, and the price was skyrocketing. And every time it would skyrocket, it would seem that somebody would DDoS attack the exchange, even though the very next day after these said DDoS attacks, you would see more people online than the day prior. It still would affect the prices of Ripple. It was insane to see this. So you would see the price shoot up, and then these said DDoS attacks would occur, and then as soon as the exchange went back live, the price was like way below what it closed at before the DDoS attacks. So where all of these sell-offs occurred, nobody could understand. And that happened to me 2 times on Poloniex, and eventually I was like, fuck this, I'm never trading Ripple again on Poloniex. And a lot of people took that same mentality, and that's why I think Ripple has really suffered over the past couple of months. Like, I'm one person to say that I won't ever hold Ripple, but geez, I love swing trading the shit out of it. But Poloniex really fucked over a lot of people that held on to Ripple during those said DDoS attacks.
Yeah, all of these exchanges need to get their shit together when it comes to like uptime during high volume situations, especially whether that's through a DDoS attack or not. There's ways that places can handle DDoS attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when the GDAX scandal happened, when the dude like dropped 11 million worth of ether and it flash crashed and cascaded everyone's trading.
Maybe I'm weird about that, but I'm fine with that because to me, if you're trading on margin, you know the risks.
Right. But
And
it
yes,
happened if it didn't crash right before that, you know?
Right. Exactly. That probably wouldn't even have helped. Let's say everyone was able to get on there. Hardly anyone would have been able to react to that fast enough to stop basically the system cascade that happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they also going to be paying back those people?
They already have, actually.
Out of their own pocket, they have, which is good.
Yeah, so Poloniex came out with a statement after these flash crashes, and they basically said, well, fuck you guys. You took that risk whenever you put your money on an exchange. This is an online exchange, guys. You took that risk. And like everybody was just like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like maybe you should get some better infrastructure. How about that? Hey, maybe you should upgrade your servers. How about that? Get some DDoS protection. How about that? You're making millions of dollars every year off of people that are trading on your exchange, and you can't afford DDoS protection? I call bullshit. I call bullshit to the 10th degree.
Maybe it's a cover story.
Exactly. That's my point. That's why I used quotations whenever I said DDoS attack, because I don't believe that they got DDoSed. I don't believe that at all. Because if they got DDoSed, even if they got DDoSed, they would have had to use so many transmissions, because looking at the users over the next day or two after that and seeing them rise, that obviously means that they can handle more transactions than what they were receiving the day of the DDoS attack. At least that's what it means to me.
But DDoS attacks are different than just users, just to be clear, right? Like,
absolutely.
So, anyway, but I just wanted to point that out to make sure there wasn't confusion there.
Absolutely. No, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, if they can handle a shit ton of more users, why couldn't they handle a DDoS attack? Obviously, like, essentially it's the same thing happening. Whenever you get a lot more users incoming, you're going to get a lot more transactions. When a DDoS attack happens, you're getting a lot of transmissions incoming at a specific time and at a very fast pace. But if you're having a lot of users online, there's obviously a lot more transactions that are going to be occurring at a quick pace as well. So if they can handle that, why can't they handle a DDoS attack? And again, this boils down to why can't they afford DDoS protection whenever they're making millions of dollars off of people every year anyways?
Yeah, and one thing to consider, and so DDoS attacks can scale to volumes that are way higher than a normal, even a heightened user situation. But beyond that, just think of the money that these exchanges make when one of those flash crashes happen, because they make a lot of their money on market sells. Well, what happens in a flash crash is everyone gets market sold. So it's like there is a lot of money in those flash crashes for these exchanges, as long as they don't lose long-term reputation. And I think that's what GDAX saw. I'd be willing to bet that GDAX made more money off of those market sellers in total than they had to pay out to recover, to pay back people.
You think so?
I mean, I don't know that for sure, but if you just think about the masses of market sellers for large amounts that happened.
I don't know. Only making 0.15% off of each trade, I don't think that would equate to more than what they had to pay back.
GDAX is 0.3.
Oh, it's 0.3. That's a double.
Yep, because GDAX doesn't charge for makers; they only charge for takers, and so the maker fee is 0, but the taker fee is 0.3. So it's still, for most exchanges, they're 15 or 20, like, and then like different scales for each. But on GDAX, it's different.
Gotcha.
I think it's great that they paid everyone back, though.
Yeah, it was great for them, sure.
Especially with like Poloniex, like kind of up in flames right now. GDAX is probably loving it.
And even when it happened with Kraken back in May, they just pointed people at their legal page, and they didn't do shit either.
Exactly, and that's why I don't use Kraken either.
Again, I think fundamentally these exchanges should all have circuit breakers, just like stock exchanges. So I think that the first one of these to come out with this is going to get so much like credibility about their trading platform that I think they should all be racing for that right now.
Yeah,
they should be racing for solutions to implement flash crash, anti-flash crash measures, basically.
It's the biggest problem right now with exchanges, and the first exchange to kind of like solve that is going to do pretty well, I would assume.
Guess what would solve that? A fully decentralized exchange.
Right. Oh, yeah, we have that.
How would a fully decentralized exchange stop a flash crash? Because it's still market mechanics, and if they don't have a circuit breaker type system or something like that, the stop losses and margin trading calls are still going to cascade downward.
If you have a exchange that you're running on a wallet that is a platform built on your computer, whereas it's not a domain that you're accessing on the internet, you can basically create as many transactions per second as that blockchain will allow.
Yeah, but now you're kind of talking about two different things. You're talking about like a DDoS attack stopping people from logging in versus a flash crash where someone sells a ridiculous amount to bring down the price enough that it triggers stop losses. Like, those are two different things. And
I think what KJ means is like a flash crash that's not due to a DDoS or a website crash prior to it happening.
Yeah, that I was talking about the situation where someone sells enough that it clears the order book down far enough and drives the price low enough that it triggers people's stop loss orders and things like that, and then it just creates a cascade effect, like what you saw on GDAX and Kraken in May, and I'm sure there's other ones I don't even know about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I just fundamentally think. A circuit breaker system, first exchange to do that of one of these big ones, they're going to just have such a flood of users.
I agree. I think they're going to do extremely well if they do that. And right now, I'm using Bitfinex and Bittrex. Those are my two exchanges that I'm using, but I never, ever put more money than I'm willing to lose on an exchange, and I highly advise all of you guys that are watching to never put more than you're willing to lose, because an exchange can be compromised at any time. You can lose every single cent that you put on an exchange online, but if you hold your funds and only put on what you want to trade, then you don't have to worry about that. You can say, all right, these funds that I'm putting on the exchange, I'm not worried if I lose those. I'll still be comfortable. I won't get mad if I lose these funds. So I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind, guys.
I think personally, Bittrex is like probably my favorite exchange for just the structure of it and the way that it works. But for me, I find that Bittrex doesn't have a lot of the options that some of the other ones do. I still have yet to find a perfect exchange that meets what I would see as an ideal exchange.
Yeah,
but that's life right now in the crypto world, basically.
Yeah, Bittrex was created by a security engineer for Microsoft Azure. So
Nice.
I trust that guy with my security. And so far, Bittrex has never been hacked before DDoS attacked. So they're on the right track.
It just has such a functional interface too. Like that's what I like most about it. Like
That's why I chose it over Poloniex when I was trying to decide on a exchange to mainly use. It's just so easy.
Absolutely.
the fact that like so much of it has like clickable things that'll autofill prices for you, and you know, max units of whatever currency. Like it's just so functionally user friendly that I like using it a lot. But some of the things, like, it doesn't have a lot of like limit order, other than limit order and then that conditional thing. So there was a few more options there.
You also can't margin trade on Bittrex,
Right.
which I'm okay with that. I don't margin trade personally.
Yeah, me either. So I really don't care about that.
But I do like lending
All
every now and
people
then.
lose money.
Just started margin trading today. I've been shorting the market, and I've been doing pretty well.
Oh yeah, I bet.
But I've been super nervous all day because
What are-
shorts are a scary thing.
What is like the expected return from margin trading? Like, what is your potential return?
Okay, so for one, does everyone kind of know how short selling works or what it is? Because if you don't, I can explain that.
Yeah, you're basically selling at the top, essentially.
So kind of what you do is when you say, I want to short sell stock, I'm just going to use stock because that's the realm that I'm used to thinking about this in. You want to short sell a stock or a cryptocurrency. And let's say it's trading at $100. And you want to say, I think this is going down. So you short sell at $100. And what you're doing essentially is you're borrowing that. Let's say you just do one share of it. So one whole unit of it. You take that one share at $100, and then you're obligated now to repay one share to the exchange at whatever price you close your short at. So the idea is, if the market is going down and it goes in your favor because you're short selling, you want it to go down. If the price ends up at 75, let's say, in half a day, then you can close your short position, and basically you now have bought back the one share that you borrowed at $75 rather than $100. You give that $75 back to the exchange, and you keep $25 as a profit.
Mm.
That's the concept of short selling.
Yep.
But if it goes the other way, then you're obligated to buy at that higher price, and then you lose money.
You can just do it with your own capital too, I would assume. Right?
Well, no.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to leverage up all. Like if you leverage your entire account, you're either a little crazy or you're pretty damn confident, or you know something for sure is going to happen. Because if you leverage because leverage basically means you're borrowing. So if I had $1,000 in my exchange and I want to leverage 2 to 1, and I want to buy $1,000 worth of that, I'm only really taking $500 out of my account to buy that that unit that I'm buying. And so you've borrowed $500 and you have $500 in principal, basically. Or that's not right, collateral. That's the word I was looking for. And then different exchanges have different capital requirements for when they'll call they'll margin call you or whatever, and then ultimately liquidate you if the price goes far enough away from your position. But I don't know. It's just one way you can, because like, so short selling is a way to make money when the market is going down, but there's
Right.
also a real risk to it in that the idea that the loss potential on a short is literally infinite, because on a short sell, you're betting the market's going to go down. So if the market goes up, you start losing money. Well, because the price can go theoretically to infinity, you can theoretically lose your entire balance if the price skyrockets fast and you can get out of your position.
Exactly. That's why I don't like margin trading.
If you leverage money, I assume you probably have to pay it back within a time frame, like that's noted before they loan it to you.
It's usually not quite like that. It's more of a, they charge you for the time that you're in that position. So they'll charge you a fee, like on Kraken, it's every 4 hours that your position's open, they charge you a 0.02% fee.
Okay,
Yep.
that makes sense then.
All right. Let's move on from Poloniex. All right. Whoops. All right. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was mass adoption. So, what are y'all's opinions on mass adoption? When do you think mass adoption will occur?
I think we're in early stages of it with South Korea. They've adopted it so much more than Western society. It's like I hopefully soon, like within the next couple of years, that would be great. Because I mean, I can walk to a Bitcoin ATM right now if I wanted to. There's one not far away, so it shows me that it's starting to happen.
I tend to disagree. I think that we're not anywhere near mass adoption. So I think that whenever you take a look at the user interface of Ethereum, so if you take a look at the screen right now, this is the user interface of Ethereum currently, Geth. This is what you'll find whenever you're running the blockchain of Ethereum. It's not a GUI. It is a command line prompt. And I think until we can actually get a user interface that your grandma can understand, cryptocurrencies are not going to go mainstream. Because if your grandma can't take her cryptocurrency to the store and pay for her groceries using cryptocurrencies, we are not going to see mass adoption.
Yeah, we saw the same thing, with debit cards. For the longest time, my grandmother still kept a checkbook with her, even though debit cards had been out for like a decade at that point.
Exactly. So I think until we actually see better user interface so that everybody can understand how cryptocurrencies work, or not necessarily work, but at the surface be able to understand how to use them, that's whenever we're going to see mass adoption. And right now, you can see with the market cap, I think somebody linked the current market cap right now, it's $94 billion. That is a very, very small number when it comes to the world domestic product. The world domestic product is around $110 trillion right now. So $98 billion or $94 billion is very, very minuscule to the world market cap. And I think once we see 1 to 10% of the world market cap, that's whenever we'll know that, yeah, mass adoption has really occurred.
Here's what I'm usually thinking about. I think you're gonna need the big players like Google, maybe Apple to get in on it. So maybe around the time they introduce their own crypto, because eventually crypto is gonna be such a buzzword that people don't even know what it is. They're gonna want to be associated with it, kind of like VR, right? It's like one of those things that's hot in the valley. You could very well say the same thing with crypto. Eventually, it's gonna be so big, so hot, so much press around it that it's gonna be hard to ignore. And even if these guys come up with superficial cryptos, like even the social networks, probably introduce this kind of thing. If something STEEM starts taking on, particularly STEEM, no pun intended, but once STEEM starts popping off, and they're losing their user base to these crypto technologies because they're so cost effective, offer so much appeal. You know that these social media companies are going to try incorporating something similar, even if it's just on a surface, superficial level.
Well, we're actually starting to see that now with Kick. I don't know if you guys have seen the Ken ICO that they're planning on implementing towards the end of this year. That's a incredible step in the right direction.
Like, sorry, the app Kick, like the messaging app.
Yeah. Kick
That is literally the first ICO I have a true interest in, because it's going to be the first one that I know of that has a user interface that already it will basically hide. It'll hide all of the cryptocurrency, and they'll just see they have this many Kick coins.
Well, I need to look more into that.
Yep.
When did that news release? Oh, May 25th, it looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty new news.
Mm-hmm.
In the spectrum of things.
I think one of the first things we're really going to see, especially like I said, from the Apples and the Googles, is going to be a hardware wallet. I think that will be what you'll see on a hardware level. So the iPhone 9, iPhone 10, they're going to debut the next big thing, and that'll be the crypto wallet. In fact, when they're out of ideas for iPhone 8, iPhone 9, by iPhone 10, they're going to be like, guys, we got to stick this crypto wallet.
They're going to be like, might as well throw it in. It's got enough.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll be the marketing thing, man. And all the yuppies who want to get, rush into the Apple Store, first thing they're going to do is load up the Apple Wallet, log on to the Apple Store, and download themselves some crypto, right? Like, once iTunes starts distributing crypto, like, that'll be the spillover.
Mm-hmm.
Something like Uber or any of these big, like Airbnbs, if you can start paying, once you have crypto integration into these big, these big apps, that is when it's like the days has come, or it's now officially upon us.
I agree. I think once we start seeing large corporations get fearful of cryptocurrencies and think that they need it, yep, they're going to start accepting it.
Hardware wallet on the actual device itself. Because think about it, like, it's how are you actually going to be paying for things, especially microtransactions? You're going to be taking out your phone. I mean, they already see this done. I think they already do this with Apple Wallet, but just think, and they might come up with its own protocol, right? It'll have its own, RFID protocol specifically to be super safe and encrypted for your encrypted crypto transactions, where you can go phone to phone and make it'll be, again, it's the device, right? It's that device in your hand that will become the new wallet, right? And instead of carrying a Trezor, 2.0 or 3.0, you'll have it integrated right into your actual device, right? And I think that really will be something in the future we'll see.
I agree. I think about that all the time. Whenever I look at I have an iPhone, and I see the wallet, but I never use it. Like, I have no need to link my debit card to it when I just swipe my debit card, But as Bitcoin reaches mainstream adoption, it would be so easy to just spend it by just tapping my phone on a reader. So yeah, I see it going that direction as well.
For sure. And if it's not that, it'll be a chip that they implant into your forehead or your palm, whatever it may be. It's coming though, all right? We know that it's
when you have, the longer you live.
Yeah, has anybody seen Just in Time?
Yeah, that's
right.
What that reminded me of.
You better get your Bitcoins to be dead by the end of the week.
Well, but let's talk about what a hardware wallet actually is. Like, what do you guys think a hardware wallet actually is?
Like a good way to store your keys locally, privately.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And then when I ask that, now I think about it, of course, there might be a future in terms of cloud wallets that will be protected, but maybe there'll be integration of both, right? Where there'll be some idea of local encryption, local safety, and then some attempt at maybe air gapping locally on a device that's actually connected simultaneously to the internet. I mean, even if it's just a marketing trick, even if it's just something to inspire like a false sense of confidence. Again, I think these guys are running out of ideas for these devices anyway. I think it's inevitable that they're going to run right into the wall of crypto.
The whole point of a hardware wallet, though, is that it's off the network. So I think it'd be really hard to claim that a smartphone is a hardware wallet because a hardware wallet is something that never really touches the network itself. Like I'm planning on creating a hardware wallet of my own that I'm going to use that never touches the network, that will house, you know, the Linux distro on it. But yeah, Nice Hat has actually been talking about it in my Discord, that he wants to create a hardware wallet, like develop a hardware wallet for the masses, because like if you try and buy one right now, it's incredibly difficult to find one. If you go to Trezor or what's the other one?
Nano Ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Ledger wallet. You can't get those until September. They're on back order. So
I totally hear what you're saying, and I know my idea sounds kind of like half baked for sure. But again, to me, it's half of it is marketing, half of it is like
Jake, your mic is like scratchy as hell.
My bad.
Well, is it your condenser mic that you're using, dude?
Yeah, did it just go south on me?
I think so. It might be your amplifier though that you're using.
I checked my phone.
Nice Hat just said in the Discord chat, instead of a USB stick like you have with Trezor and Ledger, you have something that plugs into your phone. And I was just thinking about that right before he said it. Like, what if Apple developed a hardware wallet like Trezor, but it was compatible with your phone, so you could put money on your phone, and then keep the rest on the hardware piece, and then have that money on your phone to spend.
That'd be cool as shit, because you wouldn't have to walk around with a wallet in your back pocket.
Yeah,
you could literally be walking around with this little piece in your pocket that just slides right into your phone. That'd be cool. All right. So talking about hardware wallets, let's move on a little bit. So this is a picture of a Raspberry Pi. I plan next week to create a hardware wallet of my own using a Raspberry Pi. So I plan on downloading Ubuntu and installing it on this Raspberry Pi 3. And I'm going to buy 2 Raspberry Pis. One that I can create an ISO for for Ubuntu and install it on the first Raspberry Pi, download the private key of the wallet that I want to install, get all of that installed on the operating system, and then move it over to the offline version of the Raspberry Pi. So it will literally be acting as something that can house keys for me in an offline setting, so that it acts as a hardware wallet for me. And on top of that, I'm going to install KeePass, so that all of my passwords that I put to create a key for those wallets, I can do so using KeePass, and it will encrypt those passwords as well. So literally everything gets encrypted, and it will all be stored on this cold storage wallet on Raspberry Pi. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think that would be great. There's such a huge demand for hardware wallets right now that innovation like that is needed, because Trezor and Ledger are just on back order forever.
I think that's a pretty clever way to deal with that.
Yeah, and so I want to do this, and I want to make a video of how to do it so that anybody can do it from home, because this is not something that I want to sell to people. Like, I'm going to do it for myself, and then I'm going
Right.
to show you guys how to do it if you want to do that. But, yeah, I'm not trying to sell a product here. I just was wondering what you guys thought of it.
Right, exactly. I realize that in the fact that that nano or ledgers and treasures aren't easy to get. If you can enable someone to, just make their own, then, why go buy one?
And you don't even have to buy 2 of them like I plan on doing. You could create yours online if you choose to. I just want to be super secure in the way that I create mine, because I have a lot of money invested in cryptocurrencies, and I want to make sure that my currencies stay safe, essentially.
Mm-hmm. What if you run into a fatal error while developing that, and all your cryptos are gone?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know the development process of it, so it'd be hard for me to come up with
You'd
a
have more than
scenario.
one copy.
Yeah, exactly. I always keep more than 1 copy of my private keys, man, so I can back up my wallets from any machine.
Yeah, you gotta have them stashed all over, man. You gotta have one encrypted copy on your computer, one encrypted copy in your wallet, one encrypted copy at your parents' house, one encrypted copy in your safety deposit box, one stitched into your abdomen, so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Do any of you load those wallet files up to Dropbox or Spider Oak or any of those types of things?
Hell to the fuck no.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I don't trust Dropbox as far as I can throw them, and because they're on the cloud, I can't throw them at all. No, I hate the idea of putting my wallet DAT file on anything on the web.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's I don't know.
But
See,
I thought
Go ahead.
I thought Trezor offered some kind of online recovery. I mean, because what you keep one Trezor and all your stuff's on the one device, and then what happens if you lose the one device? I thought there was some kind of cloud backup integrated into the actual device.
So there is, I wouldn't call it a cloud backup. It's essentially just a storage of your private keys. So you can store those private keys that your Trezor produces, and then you can back up those wallets another way. But interesting. What somebody just posted in the chat. I don't know if you guys are reading my chat, but he said, all of these geeky protection measures for cryptos is crazy. Cryptos are not ready for prime time. The average schmuck doesn't want to screw with all of this crap. If the cryptos can't produce a central authority type human interface, then they will fail utterly.
I was actually going to say something very similar to that, because talking through that whole Raspberry Pi thing just triggered that thought to me, and that's about the time that he posted that, I think. I truly think that the fact that you have to go through all of these measures to just store safely your cryptocurrency, just exactly what Blue Net Marketing said.
The thing is, it's still crypto in general is still emerging, so you don't have to go through all those measures. Yeah, your cryptos are at risk if you don't, but slowly we're just going to see these things develop on their own, and you're just kind of doing it yourself if you do choose to store them that way, and it's going to be easier in the future.
Yeah,
as it develops.
You don't have to do those things, but the thing and the beauty of cryptocurrencies is that there are no bailouts. I know some people might disagree with me here, but I love the fact that there are no bailouts in crypto. When it comes to credit cards, though, anytime you input your credit card information online, you are creating a security risk. You are saying that I trust this website through this transaction to not steal my credit card information. So that in itself is not safe either.
Yeah, but there's one thing to that if they do steal it and use it, you can still get your money. You can get chargebacks through your credit card company. So there's protections there for the consumer.
Correct. But the thing that I love about cryptocurrencies is that if you don't understand how valuable your money is, it can easily be stolen from you. So you should understand how valuable it is. It should be put on the user. It shouldn't be put on a credit card company to do so. That should be your personal responsibility. That should not be a credit card company that should be responsible for the theft of your money. That should be on you. And when it comes to marketing online and things like that, wherever you spend your money, you need to recognize if that is a safe and secure place to spend your money. That should totally be on the user in that instance.
Right. Yeah, the thing is, the average consumer is kind of low IQ, right? And you have to cater to those guys.
Or they're literally average IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's got to be streamlined. It's got to be something that, like any other app that they can launch and register an account with, it has to be on that level. And this is why I keep insisting on this, like, Apple iPhone-based, hardware wallet. Find some trick to at least give the illusion that even though it's on the same board, it's somehow air-gapped and provides some kind of false sense of security. And again, it's when it's on some mainstream piece of hardware is, I think, where the adoption will come in.
But
if not, then just come up with some kind of cloud, right? Maybe some kind of cloud vault that, again, it's like for the average person, they're not going to be contemplating these deeper security issues. For them, if it's got Apple's, official signature of approval, that's good enough for them, right? So if Apple promises to store your keys on the iCloud, then I think for most people that'll be okay. But obviously some of us want the greatest security. But you're suggesting like people take more responsibility over their property, which is great and all, but I just don't think the average person will want to do that. They just want a free ride, right?
of course, they want their breakfast to be free.
Well, they also just don't want to think about this. They just, if they have something to spend, they just want to spend it with minimal interaction or effort, right? Their concept is, it's my money, I'm going to go spend it, and I don't want to have to worry about all these other nuances of how to keep it safe.
Well, maybe then I think there might be no solution besides literally cloud storage and maybe some advanced biometric like access through your phone. Again, some kind of thumbprint detector on your iPhone, some kind of like eye biometric. I don't know. They got to obviously come up and cook up a good idea.
Yeah,
but I think if just to me the cloud thing seems practical. If you can trust the cloud with a lot of other things, maybe for the average person, cloud's going to be good enough, right?
Well, this goes back to a lot of what I was talking about earlier. Until your grandma can go to the supermarket and buy groceries using cryptocurrencies in a user-friendly manner, cryptocurrencies are not going to be mainstream. So we, as crypto enthusiasts, need to come up with ways that make it easier for them. And that's what my channel is all about, guys. I need everybody that's viewing this to understand that. I am trying to educate everybody on what cryptocurrencies are and how to use them effectively and easily. So when I create this hardware wallet next week using a Raspberry Pi, I'm going to do so, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do this. That way you can do it easily and not have to worry about, okay, what step do I take next? No, I'm going to break it down step for step so that you guys can know how to do this.
Yeah, and I think you do a good job of that. I mean, I think we were just trying to circle it back to the discussion from before, which is what would it take for this to be mainstream? And this just very much tied into it because we were talking about safe storage, and that's a hurdle that you have to tackle for mainstream. So, I mean, even new users, even if you're a little bit tech, if you're moderately tech savvy, even getting into the crypto world is a couple hours of research about how you store stuff properly and things like that. And I don't know, like that's the way it is that it exists right now. That is.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it all comes back to a cell phone. It's got to be able to be. You should be able to go on the App Store, download the Bitcoin wallet, and start working, right? Like it has to be that simple. And again, more advanced users like us who are concerned about security, we will have our own avenues. We'll store stuff locally. Maybe we'll offer our services to help, entities help them store their stuff locally. But generally speaking, I think the average user, if anything, I think they need the added safety of having their stuff on the cloud. And again, not even we have to get past like forgetting passwords too. I think they need to come up with some good biometric thing where it's easy to kind of scan and approve in. And again, this is all going to revolve around the coming, the cell phone revolution, man. Like everybody's gonna have this device, and if it's not a device in your hand, then they're gonna downsize it to the point where it's like a contact lens that's over your eyeball, or whatever it may be, right? Like this is like the fundamental future, and it revolves around the phone. And I know a lot of people don't even have PCs. Some people don't even own laptops. They have an iPad, they have an iPhone. It's got to be like an App Store application.
And one other thing, just to put it in perspective of how much people trust the cloud, think of the idea that the Google Pixel phone doesn't even store photos locally. They store it all in the Google Drive cloud. And if you think of some of the personal pictures that people take on their cell phones, and they're okay with those going to the cloud, they're damn sure going to be okay with their currency going to the cloud.
That's not necessarily true, though, man. I have a Google Pixel, and
I'm not saying it can't store photos. I'm saying one of the main features of it is that there's unlimited storage for the cloud.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not even a negative for these people. It's a fucking positive.
Right.
Yeah, I store all of my photos locally. So, yeah, you're not wrong, though. Most people probably don't even realize that that's a feature that they can turn off on their phone.
Or they don't even want to. They don't want those photos taking up storage on their phone. They just want Google to store it,
Yeah,
so many people are just okay with that.
It's free, man. It's free.
It's free.
It's free storage, right?
Yeah. One thing go ahead, sorry.
It can only be hacked by people that started the fappening. That's...
Right.
Listen, in that same vein, we got to consider how you're right. Adoption seems kind of far-fetched at this point. Seems so many hurdles to overcome. And I was thinking about this today that it may be like a push come to shove kind of situation in the sense that, like, we already know the mainstream financial markets are in big trouble. It's just a matter of time, right? It's not when or if, it's when, right?
Right.
If this financial crisis comes crashing down, and try to imagine what a serious financial catastrophe would look like. Well, it would look like the ATMs are down, all your debit accounts are down, the banks are closed, and everybody's scratching their heads wondering, oh shit, what do we do next? Do we starve and riot? Or does somebody come out and say, everybody, nobody panic, it's all good. I understand that the financial system came crashing down and we're all left penniless, but here comes the perfect, substitute. Like, we can still interact and keep an economy going, exchange value, and all we need is to keep networks running, the cell phone towers running, people's phones up online, keep the electrical grid up, and distribute this new app that you can get off the store, register your social security number or something, and get your credits loaded into your account, and we're going to get this economy moving. So again, it'll be some kind of maybe crisis situation that will lead people to whereas we didn't need crypto, suddenly when the traditional system has been pulled out from under us, people need something to fall back on. And I'm thinking that might be the revolution we're seeing in our lifetime. And in fact, Clayford, what you might be doing, what seeds you might be planting right now, is that as more people come on board and start watching you, if a time of crisis does emerge, it's going to be people like you that are going to talk to the people and be like, listen, nobody panic, we've got a solution here. I know the banks are on the holiday, but this is an opportunity for everybody to come together and embrace the new cryptocurrency. And people might be like, this is a stupid idea, I'm not going for it. They're going to go home, they're going to start starving, and they're going to be like, listen, the government's not coming back online, the banks aren't coming back online. What I do? The only option is this guy on the internet saying, crypto's the future, and then they're looking out the window and they see people going to work and doing stuff, and they're wondering, wait a minute, how's this guy going to work? Who's paying him? Well, it's the crypto guys. Cryptocurrencies are out. People are just saying, fuck it, I'm not waiting for the government to come save my ass. Cryptos are coming out and I can get back to work. Let's do it. But again, we got to avoid that potential crisis as human beings. So again, it's a situation that out of a crisis might emerge the perfect opportunity for crypto to come in. And again, if you look at the current existing financial system, it is overdue for a major possibly calamity.
Yeah, definitely. I think I read earlier that financial institutions have been acquiring so much debt consecutively for like the past 7 or 8 years. It's just been piling and piling on. I'm
Yeah.
gonna find that tweet.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right. Shit. 10x. All right. Who wants to start the conversation about 10x? Because I surely don't.
Yeah, I saw that on Bittrex earlier. It's literally down 100% on Bittrex.
Oh, man. This is so bad, guys. It's so bad.
Did any of you in chat here invest in this?
What's the code for that?
I almost did. It's pay.
Code word is pay.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I got to take a leak.
It's all good.
Wait.
It's all good.
It's
Why?
so
It's on Bittrex,
stupid.
right? Let's take a look.
It's, I mean, I guess if you bought some right now and hoped it, just went up a little bit, you might double your money, but I don't think it's coming back to life ever.
It just kind of launched, right? It's like, yeah, it says right? Pre-release or whatever.
I
It's
don't,
been launched about 10 hours ago. And flatlined ever since.
maybe we should pick it up then. I don't know.
What did it even do? I'll be honest, I didn't even follow anything on it.
Me either. I just saw the down 100% news.
And I saw that I posted a video in chat the other night saying that I had found that it was I guess the 10x developers are doing like a YouTube channel where they post daily videos or something, and they they posted a video where they were at like a conference thing and some journalists were asking them questions, I believe, and one of them asked them, "What are you planning to do since you raised 60 million Ethereum?" $60 million worth of Ethereum, how are you planning to sustain your business with the price of cryptocurrencies being so volatile? And the guy just goes, "Oh, we're selling half of it like in the next day." And so a lot of people are now speculating that that's what's causing at least the Ethereum downturn today, is that truly the 10x people and EOS and whatever are liquidating their Ethereum positions to get fiat currency to run their businesses.
Yeah, exactly. That was the huge question mark when you saw how much money they raised, EOS in particular raised in that 5-day window. Yeah, you wonder, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to slowly drip it back onto the market, or are they going to dump? Like, they can't dump it all at once, right? I mean, they just collected 200 million.
Looks like that's what 10x did.
Well,
Oh my God.
I'm looking at Ethereum right now, and it's down 12%. So that is a huge downturn. Like, I definitely believe that these ICOs, and I've talked about this before, these ICOs are going to be a terrible thing for the market. Like, it's good that we're going to have all these startups that implement changes to the way we run blockchains because, hey, that ushers in better user interfaces for people. So, hey, I have this one coin that I can use for music, and I have this one coin that I can use for, entertainment industries. I have this one coin that I can use for creating contracts that are legally binding. Really cool shit, right? But at the same time, these ICOs are getting funded by us, the investors, and we're putting our money into this, and we're saying, hey, I want you to create this, but at the same time, we're using Ethereum to pay for these. So what are these developers going to do with that Ethereum? Well, of course, they're going to sell it so that they can actually fund their development. And that's going to crash the market over time.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
good riddance, I say. Forget Ether, man. EOS is the future. I want to become a millionaire.
I still think that Ethereum will have a purpose even after EOS is the
Right.
the master.
Yeah,
I think-
where does ETC fit into this?
honestly, I love Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is probably one of my favorite platforms right now. Like, I am very much an immutable person, so Ethereum Classic is my go-to currency when it, like, that's what I'm mining right now, guys. Ethereum Classic is my favorite. I plan on holding it for a very long time. I think once we start seeing ICOs on Ethereum Classic, we're gonna see a huge price rise as well.
Is there any development being done? You know, like
For
Ethereum has all these future plans that they're developing towards. Does Ethereum Classic have any developers that have taken up the reins on that?
Absolutely. A ton of developers are in that. In fact, there are 2 separate development teams for Ethereum Classic, and they cover different bases. But Ethereum Classic is planning on implementing ICOs very soon. In fact, they're in talks with companies to start putting ICOs on Ethereum Classic. So I think once we start seeing that in the coming months, Ethereum Classic is going to do really well. I keep saying Ethereum Classic, and I just noticed that. Like, I've said Ethereum Classic like 98 times in the past 5 minutes.
Speaking of people dumping Ethereum on the market, there's a 2,000 Ethereum sell order on Kraken right now.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, and Kraken doesn't have that much volume, so that's a giant, huge sell order.
Are they like selling
500.
for like an unreasonable price though?
No, they're just barely above market right now. I think what it is some whales trying to keep the price down. They're trying to force it down.
That's just a sell wall, man. That's all that is.
Yeah, but for Kraken, that's a pretty giant one.
Yeah, dude. But I bet that's a bot, man.
That's not. I don't know. Maybe. I think that's just someone trying to force the price down or keep it down.
I've been on cryptocurrency markets for quite a while, man. I can see something and recognize it as a bot, and that sounds like a bot to me with that much liquidity. But yeah, nice hat. It is a good time to buy right now. I think Ethereum Classic is probably one of my favorite things to buy right now, just because I think it has a lot of potential to go up.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's undervalued, and so is Litecoin in a sense. If Litecoin is silver to Bitcoin, then Ethereum Classic is the same for Ethereum.
Absolutely. If Litecoin were 10% of the value of Bitcoin, it'd be $250, right?
Yeah.
So silver to Bitcoin's gold, but yet Litecoin is a better network than Bitcoin is, and a lot of people don't even realize that. Litecoin is going to implement the Lightning Network a lot faster than Bitcoin is.
Yeah, I don't know. Litecoin seems undervalued.
Yeah.
I'm big on Bitcoin.
I'm bullish on it, just because I'm holding it.
You know, crypto might go to Bitcoin might go to like 3K, 5K, let's say. Whereas Litecoin has potential maybe to go $300 or more, so that's like a nice multiplier, right? So that's why I got a nice little stash of Litecoin and waiting for that thing to take off. But I've also got into Dash recently.
Yeah, I was looking at Dash today, and it seems pretty good price point.
Yeah. So I think that STEEM, Ethereum Classic, Game, Mobile Go, and what else was it that we talked about earlier? Oh, Litecoin. I think those cryptocurrencies are very undervalued right now, and I think we're going to see a huge price rise in those. When is this Litecoin Lightning update going to happen? I don't know, Eric. That's a good question. I haven't been paying attention to Litecoin as much as I should have lately, but I know it is coming soon. I think it's going to be around the same time that Bitcoin implements SegWit, but I could be wrong about that. Do you guys know when Litecoin is planning on implementing the Lightning Network?
No.
Nope, I don't either.
Okay. All right. Well, so 10x, we're obviously seeing the developers sell off a lot of their funding that they got, and so it's really decreasing the value. Either that or a bag holder just sold a shit ton of it. So yeah, that's 10x. Let's move on. So margin trading. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I wanted to talk about like actually lending.
Yeah. I think it would be great.
So
Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
lending is actually a really cool concept, and right now I'm lending EOS or EOS, however you want to call it. It's up to you. Even the developers said that it's up to you how you call it. But EOS has an extremely high rate right now when it comes to lending. So for those of you that are watching right now, if you want to lend something, EOS is the way to go on Bitfinex. Like, I'm getting 0.2% back on a 24-hour period with EOS. That is extremely high. Like, obviously, I'm not lending that much because I don't like to put a lot of money on the exchanges. I'm lending about 300. Oh, no. 231 is what I'm lending right now. I'm lending about 231.
Is there any risk with your lend?
What's up?
Is there any risk to it, or is it just a savings account?
There is a little bit of risk to it. Bitfinex has been hacked before, and all of the people that were basically lending lost a lot of their money. And that was a huge liability back then, but that was last year, and apparently they've implemented a lot more security changes. So technically, if you put money into your lending account, you should get all of that money and then some back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm holding a lot of EOS right now, so it would be bad to put it to work.
Yeah, Jake, you're holding EOS. This might be a decent return for you. Like, I'm getting 0.2 back daily, and I think the reason that the interest rate is so high is because this is such a hot commodity right now. EOS, everybody wants to be a part of EOS at this point, and not a lot of people know how to actually participate in the ICO at this point. Like, if I were to ask 10 people that are into cryptocurrencies, hey, how do you get into the EOS ICO? Probably only about 2 of them would be able to answer me correctly. So
Right. But I will mention this, actually. The markets actually have been offering a slightly cheaper price in some instances, because there really is a lot of crossover. The two, when it first came out of the gate, EOS blew up from 80 cents ICO price and to a peak of $7 per token at its peak in the first 24 hours. So someone went 8x basically on their initial investment if they unloaded at the peak in the first day. But it took about another day or two for the price to come back down. And again, day or two later, you've already had 2 windows go by. And those 2 24-hour windows had EOS close closer to $3. And we saw that reflected in the markets. The markets started chasing whatever the price on EOS scan shows, which is like its current estimated value at the end of the day. So if now everyone's wondering, will it reflect the ICO prices every day? Which again, every day there's going to be an ICO, and I'm wondering that is this going to run out of steam because we're only 5 days in? Is everybody all ICO'd out? Well, this is a marathon for 300 something days, and I know I'm concerned that there might be some days where just nobody invests in the ICO window, and then one guy makes out like a bandit, with 50 cents a EOS token. Now I'm feeling like I have to keep investing. Every day I feel like I have to hit a window, because that one day where I neglect to buy into the window, well, that'll be the day where everybody else neglected to buy into the window, and suddenly the people who did, they got it for $1.50 a share. 50 cents a share even, right? It's just like, what a scheme. I feel like I got to keep paying into this. I don't want to miss a cheap window, right? And at the same time, again, what my original point was before I got off track is that if you do want to get into EOS, you're going to get a pretty competitive price on the market. You're going to get something close, if not under, every night's close on the ICO windows.
Jake, you can bet your sweet ass though that I'm gonna be checking the ICO every single day to make sure that the market is not higher
I
than
don't know if
the
this is a
ICO.
genius scheme or if this is just a disaster, but so far, I agree. I'm watching like a hawk, and as we speak, there's about just under 3 hours to go, and it's currently at 24 cents. So you're thinking, damn, only 24 cents? 3 hours? I guess everybody's sleeping. I'm going to buy in tonight. Awesome. I'm going to get it. And then just as this window starts to close, the ticker's like at about 10 minutes, it suddenly jumps a couple dollars as everybody pumps their money in at the end of the window. And every night it was like that for me. You know, I'm like, nice. It's nice and cheap, man. 15 minutes to go. I'm going to snipe this thing like an eBay auction, dude. Boom. Pump my ether in there. I F5 it for the next 20 minutes, and the next thing I know, the thing comes out of the window at like $3.15 a share. Meanwhile, Bitfinex is trading at like $2.90. So I'm like, fuck, did I just overpay for this goddamn thing?
Yep.
I thought the ICO guys are supposed to have an edge, man. What am I doing? I might as well just be loading up on the market. But, you know, I don't know, man. It's a tricky one, but I figure, you know what, this isn't going to make me a millionaire. I already made a lot of money off EOS since I got on the Windows 0. It was the most lucrative window yet. So I already made a lot of money, so I'm pretty happy. But, god damn it, dude, I'm going to be paying into this ICO every night for the next 359 days, man.
Yeah. But
Still EOS?
yeah, we're still talking about EOS, but we're about to change topics. The thing that I really wanted to talk about here was the lending. So lending can be slightly profitable for you if you're holding on to a lot of something and you are willing to put a little bit on an exchange and say, hey, I'm willing to make a little bit of a return on this. This might be the thing for you guys. So take a look at lending on Bitfinex or any of the other exchanges that have margin trading and see if it's something that interests you, because any way that you can make money on the side is a good thing, in my opinion. I always encourage people to make money on the side, whether it's mining, whether it's lending, whether it's making YouTube videos and posting them on STEEMit, or making posts like, I know Jake makes posts about his breakfast every morning on STEEMit, and people love that. So just any way that you can make a side income is a good thing. So if you want to get involved with lending on Bitfinex or other exchanges, go for it. Get out there and start lending some of your cryptocurrencies.
Yo, Steam is going to be one of the best investments ever, dude. So if you don't want to actually put any money down, if you don't want to dump any money into Bitcoin or get onto an exchange and put your credit card on the line, you just want to do it nice and clean and easy, you go to steemit.com, get your act together, start writing something, do a little creative whatever, post it up on there, and I guarantee you, well, guys, someone was asking me the other day, what's a good thing to invest to? I'm kind of like new to this and I'm not sure what to do. Dude, you're on STEEMit? Yeah, keep working on STEEMit. Forward all your STEEMit. Don't fucking power down your Steam. Forward your Steam. It's going to jump in value. Steam is going to be a $5 or $10 currency within 6 to 12 months for sure as this platform blows up.
I agree. I think STEEMit has a lot of potential. Right now it's sitting at $1.41. Think about what that could be in a year from now if people start really adopting it and seeing the true potential behind it.
Dude, it's like a noob wallet. It's easy for a noob to literally log on to Steam, and he doesn't even have like a 64-character hash of a wallet. It's literally his handle on the site. It's a genius. So for the average person who literally has like zero crypto technical skills, like the barrier for entry in Steam is extremely low. You go on there, you register, you got a Steam handle, and now Steam can be your currency of the internet. It might be baby's first currency, but it's still a fucking perfect currency for somebody to have a little wallet to dabble and send Steam back and forth. Perfect entry level cryptocurrency for people to get into.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, perfect investment. Like if it's $2 now, and if you believe people like me saying it's going to be $10 within a year, perfect investment. Why would you waste your time if you don't know what you're doing, gambling on some cryptos on some exchange you don't even know? What's the point? Just keep it simple. If you're not cut out for the bigger game, just go Steam, easy, safe bet. Same with Golos. If you want to get in on Golos, the Russian Steam, that's probably even better deal because Steam's going to go from $2 to $5 or $10, whereas Golos can potentially go from 10 cents to $2 in the next 6 to 12 months. So watch out for Golos, and they're going to build more than just Russian Steam on that platform. That platform is going to be ready to adapt any kind of social network platform to it. That one's going to be the one to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has a lot of potential. Both of those platforms have a lot of potential. But we covered everything already that I wanted to talk about tonight. All of the topics that I had written down, we covered every single one of them, and we're literally at 2 hours right now. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. And I want to thank everybody that participated. So Crypto Jake, Ethan, KJ, I really appreciate you guys coming into the voice channel and talking with me tonight on this podcast. I guess that's what we're going to be calling it from now on, a podcast, because this is essentially what it is. But I just want to thank you guys for coming in and talking with me this evening.
Yeah, no problem, man. Had fun.
Yeah, I had a really enjoyable time talking about these topics. So every Friday, I'm going to be bringing this to the YouTube community where I do this podcast, and we're going to be talking about certain topics, and I'm going to start the topic, and anybody that joins me in voice chat is just free to talk about that topic, and we're just going to go on until we've talked about everything about that specific topic, and then we're going to move on to the next topic that I bring to the table. And I'd like to thank Jake specifically for helping me come up with some of these topics tonight. So thank you, Jake, for doing that.
Hey, no worries. Hey, thanks to the audience. Thanks to Ethan, KJ, everybody involved. Flavor, thanks so much for putting this on, dude. You're the man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for hosting this.
Same time next week?
Yep, same
Bad
time.
channel.
Same time next week, 8 p.m. Central. I'll talk to you guys later. Clayford08 out.
See you, man. On the calendar.